Have you ever wondered why Russia invaded Ukraine? The answer isn't as simple as it might seem. There's a complex web of geopolitical, historical, and economic factors at play, each one contributing its own thread to the intricate tapestry of this ongoing conflict. Our aim today is to untangle this web, to delve beyond the headlines, and provide a chronological analysis of the conflict. We'll explore the rich history of the region, the underlying motivations behind Russia's actions, and the potential outcomes that could shape the world's geopolitical landscape for years to come. As we navigate through the twists and turns of this contentious relationship, we'll also touch on the broader implications, not just for Russia and Ukraine, but for the global community as a whole. It's a journey that will take us through time and space, from the historical roots of Eastern European politics to the modern-day chessboard of international relations. So grab your virtual passports and prepare for a journey through time and space as we delve into this geopolitical conundrum. To understand the present, we must first explore the past. The annals of Ukraine's history are rich and intricate, with a narrative that's entwined with that of Russia. Let's embark on a quick journey through the centuries to unravel this complex relationship. Our story begins with the formation of the Kievan Rus in the 9th century, a federation of Slavic tribes under the rule of the Varangians. The Rus is considered to be the cultural foundation of both Ukraine and Russia, an ancestral link that still resonates today. But peace was not to last. The 13th century saw the Mongol invasion that shattered the Kievan Rus. Yet in the ashes of the Rus, the Principality of Moscow began to rise, marking the genesis of what we now recognize as Russia. Fast forward to the 18th century, Ukraine found itself a part of the Russian Empire. This period was characterized by a series of uprisings and attempts at autonomy, a testament to Ukraine's enduring spirit of independence. The 20th century brought with it the era of the Soviet Union. Ukraine, now a Soviet republic, underwent drastic transformations. The period was marked by significant events such as the Holodomor, a man-made famine, and the Chernobyl disaster. Despite the hardships, Ukraine contributed significantly to the economic and military might of the Soviet Union. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 provided Ukraine the long-awaited chance to assert its sovereignty. It was a moment of triumph, but also the beginning of a new set of challenges. The journey since independence has been a tumultuous one, marked by political upheaval, economic struggles, and territorial disputes, particularly with its eastern neighbor, Russia. With this historical context, we can now delve deeper into the reasons behind the Russian invasion. Now, let's dissect the reasons behind the Russian invasion. To understand the reasons for any conflict, we must first look at the geography. Ukraine, where the conflict is centered, is strategically located at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, making it a critical region for trade and military operations. Russia's interest in this strategic location is one of the key reasons behind the invasion. The desire to control this gateway, to have a buffer zone against Western influences, and to safeguard critical sea routes, particularly the Black Sea, were all significant factors. But geography is just one piece of the puzzle. The cultural and historical ties between Russia and Ukraine also play a critical role. A large portion of Ukraine's population are Russian-speaking, and Russia has often cited the protection of these Russian-speaking populations as a reason for its actions. The narrative of a shared history and cultural unity is a potent tool often used to justify the assertion of influence and control. Next, we have the geopolitical ambitions. As the world becomes increasingly multipolar, Russia is keen on reasserting its status as a global power. The invasion can be seen as part of a wider strategy to challenge the Western-led global order. By taking control of Ukraine, Russia not only expands its sphere of influence, but also sends a strong message to the world about its willingness to defend its interests, even in the face of potential isolation and economic sanctions. Speaking of economic factors, they too cannot be overlooked. Ukraine is rich in natural resources, including coal, iron ore, and natural gas. Control over these resources could provide a significant economic boost to Russia. Furthermore, Ukraine's extensive pipeline network is a critical transit route for Russian gas exports to Europe. Control over these pipelines would give Russia significant leverage in its relations with Europe. However, the economic factor also has a flip side. The invasion has led to widespread international condemnation and a series of economic sanctions against Russia. These sanctions have put a significant strain on the Russian economy, leading to a sharp fall in the value of the ruble and causing a ripple effect across global markets. In conclusion, the reasons for the invasion are multifaceted. They include Russia's interest in Ukraine's strategic locations, the desire to protect Russian-speaking populations, geopolitical ambitions, and economic factors. These reasons, complex and intertwined, set the stage for the conflict we see today. The invasion of Ukraine by Russia didn't happen in a vacuum. It was a culmination of tensions, geopolitical maneuvering, and unresolved historical disputes. This invasion was not just a military operation, but a statement, one that would echo around the world. The invasion itself was a calculated move. Russia's military might was brought to bear on Ukraine, a country that was already grappling with socio-political challenges. This wasn't just an attack on a single nation, but a challenge to the global order, testing the world's response to such brazen aggression. Ukraine, a country with a rich history and a strong sense of national identity, was plunged into a state of uncertainty and turmoil. The invasion disrupted everyday life, created a humanitarian crisis, and threatened to destabilize the region further. Nevertheless, the spirit of the Ukrainian people remained unbroken, their resilience shining through in the face of adversity. The world's response was swift and decisive. Nations across the globe voiced their condemnation, and international organizations took note. The United Nations, NATO, and the European Union were among those that condemned the invasion, underscoring their commitment to uphold international law and sovereignty. The implications for Russia were equally significant. The invasion not only strained its diplomatic relations but also had potential economic consequences. Countries around the world considered imposing sanctions, a move that could cripple Russia's economy. The diplomatic isolation was a clear indication of the world's stance against such actions. The invasion also had implications for the world at large. It highlighted the fragility of peace and the importance of diplomacy. It underscored the need for global unity in the face of aggression and the necessity to uphold the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. With the world watching, the question remains, how might this conflict end? Predicting the future is a risky business, but let's consider some potential outcomes. The most peaceful scenario could be a diplomatic resolution. Both parties might find common ground, leading to a potential withdrawal of forces and restoration of normalcy. This, however, seems challenging given the complexities of the geopolitical landscape. Another possibility could be a prolonged conflict. History is testament to the fact that tensions can simmer for years, even decades, with no clear resolution in sight. This would be a challenging test for Ukraine's resilience and the world's patience. Finally, the most drastic of outcomes could be a forced change in Ukraine's geopolitical alignments. Russia's historical influence and strategic interests could lead to a shift in Ukraine's political and territorial boundaries. This change might be drastic and could reshape the political map of Eastern Europe. While the future remains uncertain, understanding the past and present can help us prepare for what's to come. Today, we've journeyed through history and politics to understand a complex conflict. We've delved into Ukraine's rich tapestry of history, a narrative woven with layers of cultural evolution, political shifts, and poignant struggles for independence. We've traversed the murky waters of the reasons for the Russian invasion, a tale of geopolitical interests, security concerns, and a history of misdirection in military operations. We've also ventured into the chilling reality of the invasion and its implications, a saga of strained international relations, potential economic consequences, and an urgent call to uphold sovereignty and territorial integrity. Lastly, we have navigated through potential endings, scenarios laden with uncertainty, yet each holding a glimmer of hope for diplomatic resolution and peace. As we watch this conflict unfold, let's remember the complexities behind it and hope for a peaceful resolution.